Angel Reese, she's all in Indiana during All-Star, and her Reebok campaign, come to your trap, take over your trap.
Angel Reese, the WNBA's rising star, just made news for all the wrong reasons. Explanations. The internet is also unstoppable, discussing it. When what was intended to be a moment that changes the game, Reese wore an over-the-top flop, so glaringly evident that even her own admirers were unable to speak. Immediately social. The media was ablaze with fury, memes, and vicious responses. Was it an act of desperation? Try to get a moment or a foul? Will she always regret it? One thing is, undoubtedly, this can be remembered as the finest, humiliating failure in the history of the WNBA. Angel Reese's decline from a burgeoning celebrity to walking catastrophe. Angel Reese was only one slip-up from becoming the WNBA's first ever. For all the wrong reasons, though. Consider almost hitting a triple-double, but rather than rebounds, points, and assists, turnovers are what occupy the stat sheet. There were 9 of them. 9 indeed. It's not only a chilly evening on the court. That meltdown is so epic. It is worthy of its blooper reel. There was less of a game of basketball and more of a giveaway event in which Angel essentially handed the ball to defenders such as was giving away complimentary samples at a mall for shopping. Do you require possession? Reese had you covered. Do you want a little break on the house? Simply be in the general close by. Not that she was acting like an top athlete. She was acting as though the secret weapon of the opposition. Each and every pass appeared to be a catastrophe setup, and each possession came to an end magically. Trick. The ball is visible now, and it's moving in the other direction. Some admirers referred to it as tragic. Some referred to it as humor. Either way, nobody was able to turn away. Additionally, this isn't a sudden breakdown. We've observed glimpses of this mayhem previously. Take the final season, for instance. There are 2 minutes remaining. The fever is up against the clock. Angel required 3 rebounds and 6 points too. Made a personal impression. What transpired? It was a panic, not a push. She snatched 2 rebounds, then violently charged Victoria Saxton, a teammate, in a single possession 3 times, as if she thought she was an adversary. It was awkward. It was unclear. The worst of it was telling, all right. At this point, fans are beginning to believe that even the coaching staff has given up on attempting to control her. This isn't basketball for real. No longer. Performance art is what it is. Angel has emerged as the main character in a live-action satire on how to avoid committing an offense. The paint becomes completely gridlocked the instant she intervenes, as if someone placed a barricade in the midst of an highway. The court is practically audible. Enough! It is screaming, and don't even bring up the pick and roll, since the ball is the only object in motion, directly into the hands of the opposing team. The fact that Angel is in a lane is so immobile, she might as well make a pitch a tent and make camp. She isn't trimming. She's just there. She's not driving. Like a piece of furniture that is inconvenient. Nobody is able to move. Next, there was the failure. The flop, Reese pursued, defeated her opponent in a box out, received too near, caught her by the hips, and threw her directly to the ground. Physicality wasn't the issue. It was 100% WWE. However, it didn't stop there. Angel then approached, confronted her, shouted, and struck her twice. Salute with the middle finger. It's not just jumping over the queue, that's what. The bridge behind her, setting it on fire, and slipping into a good and potential suspension. Nevertheless, in the midst of all this turmoil, but she was still being spun around, transform into something edible. They declare her to be a facilitator. Sounds good, correct? As if she's preparing her, reading the floor and teammates. However, facilitator is just code, let's face it. Please stop shooting. They desire her to pass the ball while avoiding the manner, because she doesn't throw when she's flinging bricks and making crazy passes. When she's flailing rather than bricking, she is ensnared in a tempest. Additionally, when she's zoning out, not flailing, removing oneself from the play mentally, and miles distant from the basket, drifting. Then there was the altercation with Diamond Miller, following yet another dubious. Reese jumped when the whistle sounded in her favor, soared into the air, and headed straight for Miller, a teammate from Maryland. A single tech could result in a suspension, and she is still snobbish with everyone who even gives her a bump. Indeed, it's quite acceptable to play with feeling. However, there is a fine distinction between stupidity and fire. And Angel has been dancing over it in the middle of the day. The serious worry now. This isn't just a few evenings off. It feels like a crisis right now, unfolding slowly. Angel Reese has transformed from an overly excited newbie to a walking ambiguity. Not only striving, not merely erratic, but so wildly divergent that individuals are wondering why she's just getting started. There are actual sculptures that have faster footwork and improved judgment. And nevertheless, she is obstructing the offense similar to chewed gum stuck in a vending machine. However, nobody dares to bench, since doing so would pull her away. The deception. It would acknowledge that everyone, highlight videos, buzz, and headlines, were nothing more than hype. Thus, they abandon her. There, circling her arms at the summit of the key as if she were guiding traffic at a stoplight that is broken. Then the remainder of the group's response is there. Silent assistance. Or are they fed in secret, up and awaiting the end of the storm? Keep an eye out for what comes next. Might simply blow everything up. When co-workers become distrustful and the Angel Reese, a meltdown occurs. When the play started, and then, like a hurricane, chaos ensued. Cloud. As her teammates dispersed across the court in a last-ditch rush to correct the scenario that is unraveling, it became painfully clear. This wasn't a calculated move being prepared. No, this was actually a blooper reel. Time. A comedy of mistakes that culminated in the ball falling from her grasp, frequently making its way straight into the weaponry belonging to the other team. There was a moment when Angel's admirers truly believed Reese was beginning to change things. Following a difficult beginning, hope was hesitantly reignited. Perhaps she was at last. She took a step forward, edging away from being to someone who could pretend to be a baller, play basketball professionally. At one point, it appeared as though Angel was ready to stifle critics and remove, in the moment, providing her team with a much-needed lift to the league, particularly with a triumph over as the Minnesota Lynx might have been her chance to shine. However, just when she appeared to be prepared to ascend, it all fell apart in the WNBA ranks. Down. Although a victory could have made her the most talked-about player in the league, Angel Reese, for all the right reasons, once more emerged as the face of why the hype doesn't always match actuality. Furthermore, let's be truthful, when in the same league as Caitlin Clark, gaining the highest level of popularity, there simply isn't a chance for Angel. However, the true problem is significantly deeper than a poor pass or a missed shot. It is the manner in which her teammates move, carefully as though negotiating a minefield. Their hesitancy it's obvious. They don't actually cut in her direction. They avoid making eye contact while she is holding the ball. They perform as they are avoiding grenades rather than running a swift, well-coordinated attack. Each and every. It feels risky when she dribbles. Each screen try ends in misunderstanding. Each pass could become a turnover. Additionally, rather than planning, Angel Reese has begun planning catastrophes. You are able to almost sense her teammates preparing impact as soon as she comes into contact with the ball. It's devastating. The young woman who was praised at one point for her leadership, her grit, her winning mentality,